Zolder in Belgium will once more play host for the final round of the 2019 NASCAR Whelen Euro Series on the 5th and the 6th of October. In 2018, the racing was intense at the finals, but who's going to grab the wins in 2019? With so many quick rookies in Elite 2 this season, who is going to come out on top? And in Elite 1, could Alan Day make NASCAR history and secure 3 back-to-back titles? It's the finals, it's Zolder, it's double championship points. Who'll be celebrating and heading towards victory lane, and who will be crowned the champion? Well, welcome back to Circuit Zolder, everybody, for our second race of the weekend. It's the finals weekend for the 2019 NASCAR Whelen Euro Series, and it's the Elite 2 division that will be coming up. We're here at Belgium's first purpose-built race circuit. It opened in 1963 and, well, soon became established on the national racing calendar, hosting 2- and 4-wheeled competitions. Of course, it held Formula One, first holding a Grand Prix here in 1973, and was a regular until the mid-1980s. It's the 4-kilometre, 2.5-mile circuit that we are on. The 2018 winners, Ulysse Delso and Guillaume de Flandre, not on the Elite 2 grid this weekend. They're both racing in Elite 1, and it's the 5th year on the trot that we've held the finals here at Circuit Zolder. 10 key points to the circuit. There are actually 16 turns here, and it's a busy old circuit, as we heard from Myatt Snyder, who joined me in the commentary box for the Elite 1 race earlier on. There's not much respite for the drivers. It's dry conditions, but yesterday when we had free practice, it was rather wet. And who better to show us around the track than a driver at his home NASCAR Grand Prix? Let's go for an onboard lap with Stinis Longin.
Welcome everybody in Zolder. We are here for the final race of the Euro NASCAR season. We come here in the first corner. It's a tricky corner, especially now in the rain. We take it in third gear. It's really slippery because normally it's a fast corner, so there's a lot of rubber on the track. Here we come in the second corner. Also here in the rain we stay outside. You see the car is sliding a lot. Now we accelerate to third gear. Normally when it's dry you just hit the limiter on the end of this corner. Normally it's flat. Here we stay in third, take a lot of speed. Also now it's slippery, but normally it's a really fast corner with no zone to go off the track. Now we brake to the first chicane. It's a really important braking zone because when you brake too late, you have no margin to cut the track. We take this corner in the second gear. We go over the hill. Also this one, it's very important to brake straight because otherwise you lock the tire and your race is already gone. Here we are in the Villeneuve chicane, so yeah, it's a special track. The second corner now, it's really slippery because of the rubber on track. Here we come in one of the last and most difficult corners. We take it in dry, we take it in first gear. Now it's in second because of the rain. Now we go on the straight, the last straight, to go in the Jacques chicane. We go to third, then to fourth. Here we go back to second gear when it's dry, and also now we try to cut off a lot in the chicane, turn the car and go as quick as possible on throttle. Now we are already one lap further, so this was Stinis, my home track, Zolder.
So there's an insight into what it's like to propel one of these 400 brake horsepower V8 monsters around this circuit Zolder. Stinis Longin showing us the way round. Joining me in the commentary box for this one is somebody that races with Stinis Longin in the Elite 1 division. He was out racing early on. In fact, Stinis is behind me. He's just snuck up behind me. Stinis Longin, who's going to join me tomorrow in the commentary box, Stinis? That's why he stuck up behind me. Sorry, confusion there. We nearly had 2 commentators in the commentary box. I'm introducing one, and the others arrived.
You should join us.
Joining me in the commentary box for this one is Alan Day. Alan, the back-to-back champion, and I'm not going to say the outgoing champion because mathematically the championship won't be decided until tomorrow. But it's great to have you back in the commentary box again.
Yeah. I don't know
what job is harder, driving the car or be here in the commentary box? It's definitely extremely hard, and I'm really nervous. But yeah, it's gonna be cool. I don't know. I'm looking forward for the race.
Zolder is a circuit that's been very kind to you in the Elite One division over the years. You look at what's gone on in Elite One, and it's a circuit that you've claimed 5 wins at.
Yeah, I think so.
He says. I mean, you first won here.
Where is the microphone? I want to drop the mic.
You took a double win here in 2015. You didn't grab either of the wins in 2016. You were back to victory lane in 2017, and last year you did the double again and stitched the championship up as well for the second time.
Yeah, I love that track for some reason. I think it's so technical, and it's a small track. The high speed there is no almost high speed here. We barely reach 4th gear, and I think it's I just love it.
We see the Elite 2 cars heading out onto the circuit now. Just talk about the conditions that you had to deal with. We saw the onboard lap from Stinis Longines. It was dry for your race earlier on, but yesterday it was quite awful. You say you enjoy the wet, but yesterday was not nice.
Well, it depends to who. You know, I came from the desert. I live in the desert. That's where I live in Israel, and for some reason I just love to drive in rain. We have like 1 day of rain during the year, and I still love to drive in the rain. I'm quick in the rain. I know that about myself, so I'm pretty confident for tomorrow. But I just love it.
The race earlier on, it didn't take long before it all sort of went wrong for some drivers on the run up towards turn number 1.
Yeah. Yeah, as I said, I think a lot of many drivers here just forget to switch on their brain, and we see that unfortunately sometimes during the races that people try to win the race in the first corner off the first lap, and that's what happened. And unfortunately, quite a lot of people, especially one of the championship contender, were out already in the first corner. I don't think that's by his fault.
That's Nicola Rocca.
Nicola Rocca.
Yeah.
And it's annoying, you know. It's annoying and sad to see that, because it's just ruined the competition. But that's what it is, and you know, again, yeah, that's what it is.
You managed to sort of pick your way through the carnage and finished in 6th position. It's more championship points to add to the tally, but based on the bad luck and misfortune you've had on occasions this season, you're not really where you want to be coming into the finals weekend.
Yeah, I came with a much clearer mind. I mean, I know that the championship is technically impossible to win, but I know that if I will win, well, now it's gone. But when I came to Zolder, I said if I will win 2 races, I will match the record of the all-time victories that Ander Villarino is holding. I think it's 22.
It is 22. Yeah.
He
said, you know exactly how many.
I know. That was the mission. That's still my mission. You know. Unfortunately, it's not going to be already. It's not going to be in 2019, but definitely next year I will try to beat that record.
So that means you're back next year for more.
I don't know.
Sorry, I wasn't trying to trip you. Let's sort of leave Elite 1 for the moment, because Elite 2 cars are there on the grid. We've got our main driver in the championship, Giorgio Maggi, having qualified on pole position, whereas Lasse Sorensen, who lies 2nd in the championship, is down in 6th position on the grid. So for Giorgio Maggi, Alan, we've seen so many quick rookies come into the championship this year, and that is now, is that 4 pole positions on the trot for Giorgio? 3 pole positions on the trot for Giorgio Maggi. He's been the man to beat, hasn't he, in qualifying?
Yeah, guys in Elite 2 are good. I mean, there is the top 3. I think they're really good. They definitely deserve to drive in Elite 1. I think I was extremely I was really amazed. I think it was the qualifying in Most, when he was quicker than the pole position of Elite 1.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Yeah,
stuff.
I was like, that was very impressive.
Yeah, 4 pole positions on the trot, rather, for Giorgio Maggi.
And I think it's just impressive. It is very impressive. And you can see that the drivers in Elite 2 are getting so familiar with the car and getting so good that when they move to Elite 1, I think today was the best example to see that with Fernando and Toma. that he won the race. I think that's amazing. And to see Stinnes fighting for the championship and Ercole winning the in Brands Hatch, I think that's amazing to see people who grew up in NASCAR in Elite 2 and move up the ladder. It's just, I was so happy for my teammate today, for Thomas. He really deserved that, and I enjoyed to see him on the podium and having that victory. I think that's his first victory, but definitely not the last one.
And you're sort of alluding to that, that progression through the NASCAR ladder as such. I was chatting to Myatt Snyder when your race was on, that everything is in place for drivers to enable themselves to do that, and both yourself and Tom are a case in point, because you've both taken the opportunity to go over to the States and race in America as well, yourself in the main Monster Cup Energy Series.
Yeah, that's a step forward. Those cars are not that different from the cars in the States. I mean, it's a NASCAR. It's a NASCAR. The engine, the car, the chassis, everything is just like in the States. Just the horsepower is a bit less, but it's exactly the same. So when we move to the States, we are more familiar with what's going on. So I think it's just easier for us. And that opportunity to drive here in a NASCAR, I think it's a great opportunity and open a lot of doors.
You were talking about Tomo Ferrando, your teammate in Cal Racing, having claimed his first Elite 1 race earlier on. You've got another one of your teammates in this race who's been going particularly well this season in Elite 2, the number 31 Cal Racing Chevrolet of Advait Deodar. He comes into this weekend lying fourth in the championship standings. He managed to grab a second place at Brands Hatch as his best result of the season, but he's been impressive this year. He's had the pace.
Wait, I just need to post my story.
That's all right. So yeah,
Advait is doing also. I was amazed also in Brands Hatch to see how good he did, and he's learning a lot. He's spending a lot of time with us, with the teammates, trying to observe every piece of information he can from me, from Thomas, from every driver, and you can see the progression. Like, you can see how good he became, and again.
And is that something that you, as sort of one of the more experienced drivers, and Cal as a team, try and encourage that data sharing, that bringing the other drivers up within the team?
Yeah, I mean, you have to. If you want the team, it's, after all, you drive for a team. You're not just alone. And if you want to improve your car, you need to get the data from different drivers in the team. And for that, you need them to improve. So you have to share. I know there are a lot of teams here that they are not sharing anything between teammates, and they have a lot of like fights in between the teammates. I think Cal Racing team is kind of like a small family, and we try to help each other. And I will help all of my teammates, and I want them to be good.
Well, you can see the build up to the race still continuing on the grid. The Grand Marshal will get things underway very, very shortly. For the moment, the cars are all sitting there with no engine noise whatsoever, but it won't take that much longer before we hear 22 V8 engines spring into life. That is the pole sitting car. That is Giorgio Maggi, number 50, who sits there on pole position. We'll guide you through the full grid in just a few moments' time, because I think the microphone will very shortly be handed over to our Grand Marshal to get the cars' engines sprung into life. On the outside of the front row of the grid, you can see the number 24 car. That is Vittorio Garelli, who sits there on the outside of the front row of the grid. And now looking at what's happening down there, I think they've managed to find the Grand Marshal. I think they were struggling to work out exactly who it is, but the Grand Marshal is there. He's about to be introduced to the crowd, and then he's going to get the opportunity to utter those words down there on the grid.
Drivers, start your engines.
So there we go. The instruction is given for the drivers to start their engine. Let's guide you through the full grid then. Giorgio Maggi and Vittorio Garelli on the front row of the grid. The red and yellow car on the inside of row number 2 is a non-championship driver for this weekend again, but went beautifully well at Hockenheim when he made his debut. Number 88, Hugo de Sadlia. Alongside him is number 7, which is Martin Dubeck. You can just see the black car with the white bonnet in the hands of the Czech driver, his Ford Mustang. It's an all-Ford, second row of the grid. Row 3 of the grid, number 2, Jesse Vartiernen for Alex Caffey Racing and his Chevy, alongside number 66. Watch out for the Deck Sweat DF1 Racing Chevy of the Big Dane, Lasse Sorensen, who has been remarkably quick and comes into this weekend lying second in the championship, but could only muster 6th in qualifying. Row 4 of the grid, 31, we were just talking about him, Advite Dioda racing the Cal Chevy, alongside number 99, the second of the 2 Deck Sweat DF1 Racing Chevrolet Camaros, Justin Kuntz. The 5th row of the grid, on the inside of the 5th row of the grid, number 8 for Racers Motorsports, the Italian driver, Nicola Risitano, secured his first and so far only victory in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series at Valencia. At the Fug. And row 8 of the grid is number 70, Michael Bleaky Molan, celebrated his 70th birthday just a couple of days ago, alongside number 23, which is Ian Eric Varden. Those two are pretty close to each other when it comes to the Legend Trophy points. That's for drivers who are aged 40 and over that enter the Elite 2 Championship. Onto the next row of the grid, that is the 9th row of the grid, number 12, which is Nave Tala, another Israeli, as is Alan Day, who joins me in the commentary box. He's racing for Solaris Motorsport, alongside number 27, which is Pierluigi Veronesi at the wheel of the race-winning car from the Elite 2 race earlier on when it was in the hands of Tomo Ferrando. The penultimate row of the grid is number 11, which is Niels Albert for PK Car Sport, alongside number 54, Ariana Casoli. And the final row of the grid, if they're all there, number 64, Matthias Hauer, alongside number 78, which is a driver making his debut in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series this weekend, which is Sven Svanlara. So that gives you the full grid. Lasse Sorensen, 6th on the grid, Alan Day, lies second in the championship standings, his championship rival on pole. He's got a bit of work to do.
Yeah, and I think capable. I'm pretty sure he will be in the front, to be honest. Well, I raced him. I think it was him today. I'm pretty sure. He was in Elite 1. Who was driving Elite 1?
It wasn't. He was Guillaume Laflandre. Justin Kuntz, yeah.
Anyway,
he did come out at a Brands Hatch in Elite 1, didn't he, as well?
Yeah, I mean, he was impressive, and especially in Brands Hatch when he started last in one race. Yeah, he's capable of moving to the front. I'm pretty sure about that. It's funny, but I raced against his brother, Marco.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I had no idea at all.
Back in the years, back in Formula 3. So I think it's in the family. They're all quick.
It's in the blood, that's for sure. Yeah. Either way, whatever happens in this race, we will have a brand new Elite 2 division winner here at Zolder, because none of the former winners are on the Elite 2 grid this weekend. The championship hanging in the balance between the two rookies. Giorgio Maggi leads the championship from Lasse Sorensen. Two are separated by 11 points. And with a 10-point gap between first and second as it's double points, 80 for the win, 70 for second, then there is no option for either of them but to attack. Third place, Vittorio Gorelli will want to bounce back as they head off on their second formation lap. He had a disappointing Hockenheim weekend, as will Advite Dioda, whilst Mike Snyder will go for his maiden NASCAR Whelen Euro Series victory at another circuit that is absolutely new to him, as they nearly all have been so far this year. But don't rule out the likes of Nicolas Risitano. And I would say this weekend, one driver I've been really impressed with, he went really well at Hockenheim and went really well in qualifying. That's the number 2 car of Jesse Vartiernen, another very quick Scandinavian. We've got lots of them, haven't we, in the field this year?
Yeah, they're quick.
All
of them, you know.
They are quick, and in the wet conditions, and
especially in the wet. Yeah. I want to see them on snow.
we may get the opportunity. There is Niels Albert just heading round the circuit at the wheel of the number 11 car. Niels is a 2-times world cyclocross champion, the 33-year-old Belgian. Rookie in this championship. He was also a 2-times former Belgian BMX champion, so switching from 2 wheels to 4. Had a bit of an off yesterday in the free practice session, which caused damage to the car, but as ever, PK Car Sport have sorted that out and got everything done and dusted. So lots of weaving from side to side. The circuit now looks absolutely ideal, Alan, for this first Elite 2 race of the weekend. They will do it over 16 laps.
Yeah, I don't know why they do another formation lap, but when we drove, the track was a bit slippery, and we still have some spots of wet, I don't know how you say that in English, like a river of water suddenly crossing the track. And some of the corners have like sand from I don't know,
support races.
Previous races. So anyway, I'm pretty sure the track looks pretty good. I don't know why they do another formation lap.
I would imagine maybe because it's sort of colder ambient conditions out there, just to try and give the drivers the opportunity to get a bit more temperature in the tyres, on the hope that they all get through the corner the first corner, at least safely. Didn't quite happen in Elite 1. Let's hope it does in Elite 2. Because remember, it is the finals weekend. It is double championship points. It's not the regular 40 for a win. It's 80 for a win this weekend, as it was at Hockenheim 2 weekends ago. Giorgio Maggi leading the championship. He's had 3 wins so far this year. He sits on pole position. The wins coming at Valencia, at Most, and at Hockenheim last time out. Vittorio Garelli, who lines up alongside him on the front row of the grid, has had just the sole win so far this season. That came on the only oval circuit we've got in the calendar, which is at Venray, but he's had seconds, he's had thirds, fourths, fifths and sixes. So again, he's been a consistent driver throughout the course of the season. And then row 2 of the grid, Hugo De Sadlia making his second weekend in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. He finished second and third in the 2 races at Hockenheim, so he was very quick on his debut. And alongside him is number 7, which is Martin Dubeck, who's only had 1 podium so far this year. That came at the very first round at Valencia at Circuit Ricardo Tormo in Spain. So the second formation lap is done and dusted. They get themselves into 2x2 formation, nose to tail, bumper to bumper with the car to the ahead of you, behind you, to the left or to your right. And remember, they stay in that formation until they cross the control line. Buckle up, everybody. We're about to go green for the first time in Elite 2 this weekend. Over the start-finish line they will go. Lights go out. It's a good start for Vittorio Garelli. Slower away was Giorgio Maggi, who got a tap in the tail there from Hugo De Sadlia. And as they head up towards turn number 1, side to side, they bounce off each other. Garelli is going to hang on to the lead of the race, having got the better start over Giorgio Maggi, but Maggi is now trying to fight back as they head up towards turn number 2. They are all safely through the first corner. What is going on for the lead of the race? Well, they head round through Canal Bocht in a second, and it looks as though Vittorio Garelli has got the jump. Hugo De Sadlia all over the grass and into the gravel trap up at Lucien Bianchi Bocht. That is going to put him out of the race, and not quite sure what happened there. He seemed to sort of just disappear onto the grass, and from there couldn't get it back. Big.
I don't know. I don't know about the start. I don't think the second place are allowed to overtake the first before the start-finish line. So I'm not sure about that. But we will see. I don't know.
We'll wait to see. Vittorio Garelli didn't go too
but anyway,
early.
it doesn't matter.
Matters not, as you say. Up the inside goes Giorgio Maggi to grab the lead of the race from Vittorio Garelli. That big lock-up heading in towards the cleaner chicane, will that have flat-spotted the tyres?
Yeah, definitely. Especially those general tires they have more grip compared to the Michelin that we used to drive before. They have more grip. They are faster. But the moment you make a small mistake, like blocking the front tires, you immediately get a flat spot, and that will affect his race definitely from now to the end of the race.
Yeah, so watch out for that. Very early on in the race, he's going to have to manage those tyres now. And of course, now he's flat spotted them, they'll always try and return back to the same spot again. For the moment, we still remain green. We'll just cover the issue of Hugo De Sadlia's car being off in the gravel with localised yellows. Over the start-finish line they'll go. And Martin Dubeck sitting there in the number 7 Hendricks Ford in third position. Lasse Sorensen, I said he got work to do from 6th. Well, already at the wheel of the Dexwet DF1 Racing number 66 car, he is up into 4th position. Make that third as he dives up the inside of Martin Dubeck, heading in towards the turn number 2. Starterback booked. And now they'll be heading into the localised yellow flag zone. Did he make it through? No. Martin Dubeck just hung on to the place. So Lasse Sorensen still sits there in 4th, Alan, as the car is in the process of being recovered from the gravel.
It's just patient. Just patient, that's all. He's there. He's definitely there. He definitely putting a lot of pressure on Martin. He just needs to be patient and wait for his mistake.
The race will come along to him, yeah, absolutely. So Ford from Chevy. That's the top 4 already, though. Giorgio Maggi is starting to break away and is just starting to gap the car off Vittorio Garelli, who sits there in 2nd place.
All right, you don't have a lot of patience. That's for sure.
He's through already, yeah. He didn't wait long, did he? Lasse Sorensen up into 3rd position. He will now go about Vittorio Garelli to try and close up on the 2nd place car. Rest of the field just filing their way through as the race leaders are up towards Boulderberg Bocht, round through the right-hand hairpin at turn number 12, up towards the Jochenring kink, through turn number 13 and 14, where the speeds begin to build, and in towards the braking area for 15 and 16, which Myatt Snyder was telling me, through this Jackie Ick chicane, he said one of the most technical parts of the circuit is make sure you get cleanly off the corner to carry the speed down the straight.
Yeah, you kind of need to sacrifice the first part of the corner to have a better second part. Just because you go to the front straight line, and it's really important to also carrying a lot of speed and starting the next lap with a higher speed. That's the reason why a lot of overtakes, we see a lot of overtakes over there. I wonder if they're going to put a safety car.
Well, for the moment, we still remain.
Oh, they're pushing the car.
In fact, the safety car is now coming out, so it does look as though we are going to go full course caution. So can't quite get Hugo de Sadli's car out of harm's way in time, which means that we go full course caution. There might be a bit of reordering possibly needing doing. Let's just hope that that will be done rather quickly. Slightly shorter race for Elite 2. But Giorgio Maggi has done what he needs to do at the moment, hasn't he? He has managed to get himself into the lead of the race. Vittorio Gorelli with those flat-spotted tyres in second place. Lassie Sorensen, who sits second in the championship, in third. Fourth on the road at the moment is Martin Dubeck. Fifth is number 31, Advite Diodo. And running out the top six is the second of the two Deck Sweat DF1 cars, which is Justin Kuntz, which means that it is three rookies in the championship that are first, second and third. And we've seen that so many times this year, haven't we? We call them rookies. That's only because it's their first season of NASCAR
First season
racing.
in NASCAR, yeah. But some of them came with quite a lot of experience before. Yeah, I was rookie. I was rookie in the NASCAR. I won the rookie championship after driving like 5 years in Formula 3 and 3 years in GT. So it's a very big word to say rookie, I think.
Is it a culture shock when you come out of GT cars and single seaters into a big NASCAR?
Yeah, it's totally different, especially from GT because they look kind of same. You know, it's still a big car, big engine. But in GT we have traction control, we have ABS, we have so many aids to help the driver that we don't have here. Especially we have pedal shifts. Like how easy is that? So the first time I tested the NASCAR, it was a different world for me. It's totally different. My first race was even crazier. In Valencia, I didn't expect that aggression from the drivers, you know, because in GT and Formula, especially in single seater, it's much more. It's a clear sport. You almost never touch.
Well, you can't afford to, can you, in open wheel?
Yeah, that's for sure. So coming here to the NASCAR and people start bumping you and pushing you, you need to adapt to that.
And the car that's brought about this safety car, Hugo de Sadli, comes from that background, sports car racing. He was saying to me at Hockenheim he had never driven a car with a stick shift before. It was his first time in something that hadn't got paddle shift.
Yeah, I think it's the same for me also.
Yeah.
When I moved to the NASCAR, that's the first time yeah, and it's funny, you know, I know that some of the drivers brake with the right leg.
Yep.
Like this is something I came from single seater and from GT with pedal shift. I never actually brake with the right leg. I don't know how to. I always brake with
do you still left foot brake now?
Yeah,
which is exactly what Hugo was saying. He was left foot braking. Yeah, absolutely. Which means that one day we will get a
no, but even here, like I still brake with my left foot.
So for changing gear, then do you blip and match the revs to bring it in, or are you back onto the clutch?
I just blip
Just
when
blip
I
and bring it
downshift.
in, yeah.
And I know that quite a lot of drivers are still using the clutch and using like the right leg. And I think that's the cool thing about it, that you can have two different types of drivers and they're still quick. You know, it's still the same.
So you have some that just don't use the clutch at all. You use the clutch on the upshift. No. So it's just match the revs on the upshift. Match them on the downshift and get it right on the upshift.
Yeah.
And other drivers that will be right foot braking, but then heel and toe to match the revs as they go up and down the
that's
box.
too complicated for me.
we do need some GoPro cameras pointing at drivers' feet. Don't
I
we? So we can
have the
record
video.
footage.
I will post it.
We want
soon.
to see that. Yeah, please post that. Yeah, your Twitter then, if people want to look at that video.
It's Instagram.
Right. Okay. Instagram.
Follow me on Instagram.
Okay. Follow Alan Day.
Score Day.
So yeah, I want to see that video. So under full course caution here, looks as though Hugo de Sadli's car that was extracted from the gravel is now continuing on its merry way. Just a very small amount of damage to it. That's all very just very dusty sidewalls to it. He is continuing around the track at the moment. He is not opting to bring the car in towards the pit lane area. The lights still remain on the safety car. I'm not aware as yet that we are good to go. I think they're still looking at the lineup to double check that the lineup is okay and whether any further reordering needs doing in what is almost sunshine now, actually. First time we've seen sunshine since we arrived on Friday. Some blue sky above, albeit the weather forecast, as you were saying, Alan, for tomorrow, it's anywhere between a 98 and a 100% chance of rain, isn't it?
Yeah.
Of course, of the day.
Yeah, that's again. I love to drive in the rain. I'm looking forward.
You'll be doing the rain dance tonight. I don't think you need to. It's going to rain.
No, I don't
isn't
think
it?
I need to.
It's going to rain.
It's Belgium. It's always raining.
And again, just a question for you then as well. Even with your experience in NASCARs and the success that you have had, this weekend is still a voyage into the unknown in that respect, because it's the first time you'll have driven on the wet compound tyre with the new spring and the new damper.
Yeah, but as I always said, when the track is wet, the car, the setup of the car and the tires you have and things like that, it's not that matter. It's about driving and know how to drive in the rain, because it's totally different theory of driving. It's a different racing line, different braking, different brake bias. Everything is different, and people who are good at that will always be good at that. And I think you can see that everywhere. Not only in the NASCAR, you can see that in Formula One and every category.
Absolutely, couldn't agree anymore. The safety car should be in, is the message we're receiving from race control at the end of this lap, which means that we're only just heading up towards the point at which into the gravel trap went Hugo de Savia. That's turn 4. They get themselves into 2x2 order as they head round through turn number 12, which is Boulderberg blocked. So that's a while away yet. Cars are on their 5th lap currently, so the order is good. Giorgio Maggi leading from Vittorio Garelli, Lassie Sorensen and Martin Dubeck 3rd and 4th. In 5th place at the moment is Advait Dioda. It's Justin Kuntz in 6th, Nicholas Risitano, Alessandro Bugatti, Myatt Snyder and Michael Bleekie-Molen complete the top 10 at the moment. In 11th is one of the non-championship scoring cars, which is Paul van Pollard. Freddie Hemberg is in 12th place. Jesse Vartianen and Nave Talor complete the top 14, with Luigi Veronese in 50th, and the leading driver in the Legend Trophy at the moment for the drivers over 40 that enter the Elite 2 division is number 23 for Memphis Racing, Ian-Eric Varden. And Ian-Eric Varden is a driver who will be rather pleased with that, actually, because he comes into this weekend lying 2nd in the Legend Trophy, but is only 1 point away from the driver that celebrated his 70th birthday just a couple of days ago. Hence the car has changed this weekend from number 69 to number 70. And that is the car of Michael Bleekie-Molen. So with just a point between the pair of them, Ian-Eric Varden potentially could be on course for his 6th Legend Trophy win of the year and move into the lead of the championship with a race to go. So plenty still to pan out. There'll be lots of maths being done this evening to work out all of the championship permutations for tomorrow. But the cars now should get the instruction from race control coming out of this corner, which is Boulderberg Bocht, to get themselves into 2x2 order. And from there, have another go at it. Fair to say, I did question at the beginning of this race whether the Mitsubishi Motors number 33 car that was in the hands of Luca Lasser in the Elite 1 race had been repaired, and indeed, now it doesn't look as though Ben Kriener even made it to the grid. I did fear that the damage to that car might be too extensive, that it didn't quite happen, and that does look to have been the case. So the car's heading up the short straight that brings them in towards the Jackie X chicane, and then we can get the race underway. This is lap number 5 that is about to be completed. The black car with the red, the white and the blue stripes of the Dutch flag down the centre of it is the championship leader and the race leader, Giorgio Maggi. Look to drivers right from there, and that's where we see Vittorio Garelli. So it's a Ford and a Chevy on the front row of the grid. Green flag waves, we get the race back underway. Lassie Sorensen looking to see what he might be able to muster as well at the wheel of the largely white and light green deck sweat DF1 car. Vittorio Garelli tries to break it out around the outside. That's not quite going to work. He's now opened the door for Lassie Sorensen to squeeze his way through into 2nd place. Garelli is not going to be able to hang on to 2nd. It looks so Lassie Sorensen is indeed through. So the drivers 1st and 2nd in the championship now are 1st and 2nd on the road. Maggi leads the race. Sorensen in 2nd place. Vittorio Garelli in 3rd place. Martin Dubeck in 4th. Advait Dioda in 5th place. And in 6th place, it looks so it's Justin Kuntz that sits there in 6th place. So that restart, Alan Day, was critical for Lassie Sorensen, and he did exactly what he needed to do.
Yeah, he won that. I mean, he knows that he needs to overtake Giorgio to be able to fight for the championship, and I just did it.
Yeah.
He wanted that so bad.
He's still giving away 10 points to him, though, if they stay where they are at the moment, which would leave the gap at 21 points. That is a problem, and that is Nave Talor,
yeah,
isn't
that's
it?
Nave.
So Nave Talor, and yeah, it's such a shame to see Nave Talor, another one of the very likeable young drivers that we've got in the field, Nave Talor. But so yeah, he's clearly.
Yeah, he's a promising young guy. Came from Israel.
Did you know each other before NASCAR?
I mean, he drove go-karts, so we talked a bit before. He called me when he started testing here in the NASCAR. Yeah, now when you have another guy, another guy from your own country, it's something different because suddenly you have someone to share with the same language.
Yeah, he's only 18 years of age, Nave Talor, so he's got plenty of time ahead of him. Giorgio Maggi leads the race. Lassie Sorensen opening up a gap now between himself and the number 24 PK Carsport Chevy of Vittorio Garelli, who's now fallen away from the lead pair and is under pressure from Martin Dubeck. Now, that safety car period at least might have helped Vittorio Garelli a little bit because, of course, he had that big lockup, didn't he, on the first lap? And as you suggested, yeah, he's going to have to sort of manage that car now, isn't he?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he still have those vibration in the car. And you also have a lot of pressure from behind, so...
Two more go off in the background. I think that might be Freddie Hamburger that has gone off. And the other car, I have a feeling, might be Jesse Vartiainen possibly that's gone off. So it may well be that the two Finns have got themselves together there. We'll confirm that, though, if you're getting another shot as to exactly what happened there. Leading pair really starting to break away. So we've got yellow flags, localised ones at turn 4 at the moment. Into the pit lane. Now that surprises me because he had been leading the Legend Trophy. Came in Eric Varden, and yes, it is Jesse Vartiainen that is off. So that is one of the two cars I'd identified. I think the other one might be Freddie Hemberg that's gone off as well at the wheel of the Memphis Racing number 77 car. But we'll confirm all of that at the end of this lap. So there goes our race leader, Giorgio Maggi leading the race. Lassie Sorensen still in second. Vittorio Garelli still hanging on to third place, but coming under pressure from the Hendricks Ford of the Czech driver Martin Dubeck, who we saw involved in the incident in race number 1. He's got right behind him, though, Advait Dioda at the wheel of one of your team cars. No, there's Freddie Hemberg, so it wasn't Freddie that went off. He has just gone through the Jackie chicane, so we'll try and identify the car that sort of disappeared and was involved in that two-car incident heading up towards turn number 4. This is the fight for third at the moment. Vittorio Garelli. Well, the body language of that car, Alan, tells me that it's not doing what Vittorio wants it to do.
Yeah, and don't forget, now I remember that Nicola Rocca had a big crash before, and well, safety car is out.
Yep, so safety car coming back out. We can see Jesse Vartianen's car. Well, that's axle deep, isn't it, in the gravel? That is.
Yeah, I think also that gravel trap is a special spot that it's really hard to reach. But anyway, about the 24 car, they had a big damage. They had to repair the car from the crash of Nicola Rocca, and I think they don't have a lot of time to test it before. It's not like between today and tomorrow that you have a warm up. You just need to jump in the car and do the best. And sometimes it's not exactly the same setup as you used to. Sometimes you just jump into a totally new car.
Just having a quick look. Now that Ian Eric Varden has come into the pit lane, there is, look, the stricken car, as we say, it's axle deep, isn't it, on that right-hand side as it's gone into the gravel. So Jesse Vartianen, such a shame, because I was saying at the build-up to this race, he's one of the drivers that's impressed me, both with his performances at Hockenheim, whereas in third place in both of the races, and the fact that he qualified so well today in the 5th position. Having taken up now the lead of the Legend category will be number 70, Michael Bleekie-Molen will have taken up the lead of the Legend category. He's circulating at the wheel of the number 70 car down in 11th position. But still rookies, first, second and third though at the moment. Giorgio Maggi, Lassie Sorensen and Vittorio Garelli are all rookies, as is Advait Dioda, who's there in 5th place. So it's 4 rookies inside the top 5 currently. So full course caution for the second time. The reordering now begins to make sure that we go back into the order that they were the lap prior to the safety car coming out. How frustrating, Alan, is it as a race driver when the likes of Giorgio Maggi and Lassie Sorensen, you've got the brake on the cars behind, you're ready to slug it out together, and then all of a sudden, through no fault of your own, you're back behind safety car?
It depends. Sometimes you want that. Sometimes you're in the lead and you are under pressure from drivers, and you actually want the safety car because it's kind of a break and spending time when especially when you're in the lead and under a lot of pressure. And sometimes when you want to win and you want to push and you need to overtake someone, then it's annoying. Then you don't want the safety car. Yeah, again, it's a strategy game after all, and sometimes it's helping you and sometimes it's just hurt you.
So it looks as though the other car that was involved, I just saw it sort of disappear off on the side of the screen, was number 98, the Ford Mustang from PK Carsport of Paul van Poelart, that was also involved in that incident. And we gather from information that's come from race control that there might also have been car number 70, Michael Bleekie-Molen, involved. So it would be Michael Bleekie-Molen, Paul van Poelart, and what we know for sure, Jesse Vartiernens, because his car is just being extracted from the gravel. So 3 cars potentially involved. It does also give the free pass to the first of the cars that was involved with the safety car period. Hugo de Sadlier will get the free pass. So he's circulating down in 21st position, but will get one of the laps back that he lost whilst he was in the gravel trap. So we just see Hugo de Sadlier's car there. So the rest of the cars all bunching up again, just trying to maintain the temperature in their tyres. I was chatting, Alan Day, to Myatt Snyder, who joined me in the commentary box for your race earlier on. He was saying the most rewarding corner for him is the cleaner chicane, which is turn number 5 and turn number 6. He said if you get it right, wow, does it feel good.
Yeah, it's satisfying because I think the best shot during the season, it's in that corner. Like if you look at pictures, always the car go on 2 wheels, pretty high from the ground. Some of them are taking off. That's even crazier. But if you do it perfectly, you feel like 2 wheels from the left side are in the air, and then suddenly, because it's chicane, then suddenly also the right side is also in the air. So it's kind of like dancing with the car, and if you do it right, you feel that was quick, and it's really satisfying. I can totally understand him.
But he also said it's a very fine line because the curves are so big there. It's quite a fine line, but you're getting it right and it's going wrong.
If you're going a bit too much, then you're flying in the air. 4 wheels taking off.
Not the quickest line.
It's not the quickest, and it's not the most comfortable. Trust me, landing with that car, it's not the most comfortable.
It hurts. Yeah, it loads up all the suspension as well, which could lead to other problems as well. We saw Jesse Vartiernens' now car extracted out of the gravel. That car having no sort of headlamps or grille on it at the moment because
I think also Navet's back. Oh yeah, Navet's back also. Nice.
Navet's back out as well. So he's
I'm
back out.
Supporting my country,
Absolutely. So Navet is back out. He's on his out lap, but he has now gone 2 laps off the lead by the look of things. So safety car brings the pack of cars over the start-finish line. So I think we are not that far away from all the reordering having been done. There's no news from race controllers yet as to whether the 3-car incident, of which only one escaped really, I think the number 70 car of Michael Bleekie-Molen. In fact, number 98 is in there as well. Listen, there's Paul van Poelart now just weaving from side to side coming into shot. So there goes number 70. There's number 27, which is Pierluigi Veronesi in Elite 2. And behind him should be the number 98 car, which is Paul van Poelart. Indeed it is, yeah. So it was just Jesse Vartiernen that ended up in the gravel, despite the fact that there were 3 cars potentially involved in whatever happened that put him into the gravel in the first place. So safety car is happy, as our race control, that the lineup is good, which means that we are ready to get things back underway. They are on their 10th lap, the way things currently stand, for what is scheduled to be a 15-lap race. I think it's in 16, and it's a 15-lap race, can't read my own writing, which means that, well, there's not that many more laps for Lasse Sorensen to try and unlock the door to the lead.
Yeah. I think he's now feeling the pressure, and I hope it's not. He will not overdrive the car and start doing like stupid stuff. And I'm pretty sure we can see he did, I think, the quickest lap. So I think his pace is there.
Well, the quickest lap today, of course, will give him potentially pole position for tomorrow.
No, yeah, he did the quickest lap.
So,
so the pace is there. He can challenge Giorgio. We just need to be patient, as we know.
If he can get through, Alan, with an 11-point gap, then that means that he would score. If he can get through that means he would score 10 more than Giorgio Maggi, which means there'd be a point between them going into the final race of the season, and that would make it very interesting.
Yeah.
But when you consider Lasse didn't do the first 2 races of the season at Valencia to even be in this position coming into this weekend.
I think that's this shows like how important is the playoff. If you're doing good in a playoff, you jump so high in the, on the standing. I think he came to Hockenheim already there, but anyway, the most important part of the championship is the playoff eventually, and that's how I actually lost the chances to win the championship.
Yeah, I mean, coming into this race, Lasse Sorensen had led, I think, something like, we can't quite count up the ones at Hockenheim, but he's led probably about 80 kilometres all season compared to Florian Venturi, who was on about 160 kilometres. So he's led less kilometres than everybody else. He's done less races than everybody else, but he's scored more wins than anybody else in Elite 2, which goes to show that, yeah, when he's been out, he's been quick and has been rather consistent, to say the least. He's had, some 5 wins, he's had 2 seconds, he's had a third.
That's so impressive.
He's had another top 10 as well. So, yeah, Mr. Consistency. And that's what you need for championships.
Yeah, definitely.
So here we go. We are just about to get things back underway once more. This is lap number 10 that's about to be completed. It's a neat 2x2 order. Remember, they can't break out of those 2 lines of 2 until they get to the start-finish line. They have to hold position. Green flag flies. We get things back underway. Looks like a good restart again from everybody who held their positions. And now as they head up towards turn number 1, can Lasse Sorensen sweep his way around the outside, all the way around the outside? Gives him the inside line for turn number 2. He's done it already, Alan. Maggio trying to fight back up towards turn number 2, looking to try and unlock the door. It looks as though they disappear out of our view, and that's the frustrating thing here. The camera not quite showing what's on the run down in towards turn number 3, but Sorensen is in the lead.
Wow. Just wow. That was amazing.
Impressive stuff. Paul van Poelert, lots of arm twirling to try and keep the car out of harm's way. He's off and into the gravel at turn number 4. Has he made it into the barriers? That might bring out another safety car, possibly. Lasse Sorensen leads the race.
And look who's third.
It's Alfred Yoder, is it not?
Unbelievable also.
And I think also, did Martin Dubeck not get through and ahead of Vittorio Garelli as well? I think Garelli might have lost a couple of places there at the restart. Lasse Sorensen leads, Giorgio Maggi second, Alfred Yoder third, Martin Dubeck is indeed there in 4th place, and Vittorio Garelli, slipped down into 5th place. He's lost 2 places at the restart.
Yeah. As I said, he won that. He wanted to be first in the first corner. He did that. I think the 50 car got pushed by the 24, so it did help him on the start. But to see how Sorensen hold the outside line, unbelievable.
Yeah, great. So Giorgio Maggi was fighting back, heading in towards turn number 12. Almost got himself alongside, but he was on the outside line going in towards the hairpin. And now a slow exit out of that corner has put him under pressure from Advait Deodar, the London-based Indian, racing for Cal Racing. Over the start-finish line now come. It is still Lasse Sorensen that leads. Giorgio Maggi, Advait Deodar, then Martin Dubeck. The top 4 have just broken away from Vittorio Garelli, who sits there in 5th position, round through Ersk, which is turn number 1, up to Starenbach Bucht, which is turn number 2. Snatch break there from Giorgio Maggi, only just briefly though. The right hand front wheel, so that's the unloaded wheel turning into that corner. We've still got localised yellows up at turn number 4 whilst we try and get Paul van Poelert's car out of harm's way where it's come to rest. But everything is beautifully poised here as the cars are now on lap number 12 of the scheduled 15. He's made it all the way into the tyres, so there's more work to be done for PK Carsport to get that car sorted. But the battle is on for the lead of the race.
Oh, that's going to be interesting. I need to sit.
You have a sit down, Alan Day. There's Nicholas Risitano at the wheel of the Racers Motorsport number 8 car. He's got his teammate right behind him, actually, which is going to be Alessandro Brigatti. So 4 for the lead of the race. Nose to tail through the Gilles Villeneuve chicane. Then they'll start to stretch their legs a little bit more as they head round through turn number 11, all over the curbs. That's Freddie Henberg, isn't it?
Yeah, when you jump the curve, if you're not taking the Villeneuve chicane right, you can smash the chassis in the ground. And sometimes you get a lot of understeer and you can hit other drivers like you just saw right now.
All got rather close, didn't it? But they all came out of it the other side. There's a snatch break from Freddie Henberg there as well. And almost off the circuit, in fact, just onto the grass goes Michael Bleaky Molen. Is that going to lose him the lead of the Legend category? I don't think it will at this stage. So over the start-finish line come the leading pack of cars. This is lap number 12 that's about to be completed. Lasse Sorensen, remember, lies second in the championship standings, 11 points behind Giorgio Maggi. If they stay where they are, he will gain 10 points over Giorgio Maggi, which means They will be separated by a single point going into the final double points race of the season. It can't get any closer. And Advait Deodar and in fourth place, Martin Dubeck at the wheel of the Hendricks Ford wants in on the mix as well. Advait Deodar desperate for his another podium, which for him would be only his second podium of the season. He had a second place at Brands Hatch, but Martin Dubeck is desperate to try and see what he might be able to do in what's been a season where he's just had one single visit to the podium. Up towards the braking area for the cleaner chicane, they'll work their way. Top four not really slowing each other up, Alan, because the fifth place car, which is Vittorio Garelli, is sort of still struggling, isn't he, a little bit?
Yeah, again, I still wonder if that's from the crash of Nicola before. Anyway, it's nice to see all of them really quick. Cool to see Advait also like in the battle, and more than that, I think it's going to be extremely hard now for Giorgio to pass Sorensen, especially with those all of local yellow caution.
Despite the off at turn number 12 briefly onto the grass, Michael Bleekemolen still hands on to the lead of the legend Qatari.
That's probably going to happen right now.
It is, yeah, good run there, wasn't it, coming towards turn number 12 for Giorgio Maggi, who is pushing on this lap. He's just posted the best first sector that we've seen so far in this race. He's quicker also than Lasse Sorensen through sector 2. Nose to tail, the top three with a slightly larger gap back. It's not much still, is it, to Martin Dubeck? This is lap number 13 that is about to be completed. Through they go over the start-finish line. Looks as though Advait Deodar has just fallen away a shade more on that lap. So the top two, which is exactly what we need in the final couple of laps, might be able to slug it out for the win.
Yeah, I think Advait, the splitter, the front bumper is touching the ground. I wonder if it's because of he hit the curb in the chicane too hard. And definitely affects him. Like he can feel that. He can feel more understeering. The car is not really doing what he wants. And you can see that definitely affects him.
Well, they're just coming into that part of the circuit again, and let's hope that Advait Deodar just maybe uses the curves, but not too much. Giorgio Maggi weaving around to try and do anything to retake the lead of the race. He knows how important potentially it could be if he could get himself back into the lead of the race. Equally, Lasse Sorensen is going to be desperate to try and hang on to a points advantage over Giorgio Maggi. And Maggi would still lead the championship if they stay where they are, but as I say, just by the single point, absolutely together through the Villeneuve chicane. Advait Deodar and Martin Dubeck still fighting over third and fourth position. Vittorio Garelli still fighting with Justin Kuntz for what will be fifth and sixth position. So battles no matter where you look at the front end. Maggi is so quick, isn't he, heading in towards turn number 12, but again he will try and take a wider sweep in, cut back on the exit, get on the power that split second early and see what he might be able to do. But Lasse Sorensen, for the moment, Alan Day, is putting the car where he needs it to be.
Yeah, I love when people start blocking. It means that, yeah, we're going to see some good fights, and especially that other people, as you can see, Advait is already there on the bumper of Giorgio. So
he's blocking, but he's not weaving, is he?
No, he's blocking. He's doing whatever he needs to do to keep himself in the front, in the first place. He's doing it perfectly, I think. You can see that the 50 car have a small advantage in the straight lines. So he knows where to block, and that's the most important thing. And the cool thing is that you can see the other cars are joining the party.
They are. They all want a piece of this. We are on the last lap, though, and both at turn number 4, which is where they're coming up to now, and at turn number 11, which is just after the Villeneuve chicane. There are localised yellow flags currently, so that is a couple of sections of the circuit where there is no overtaking, but they're not the key overtaking parts.
Yeah, there are not parts that you can actually overtake.
Leaping over the curve, beautifully done again by Lasse Sorensen. Maggi that little bit quicker coming out of the corner in towards the braking area for the Gilles Villeneuve chicane for the final time. Lasse Sorensen, Giorgio Maggi, Advait Deodar, Martin Dubeck all together. Vittorio Garelli is starting to come up onto the coattails of them, but is just too far away as they've only got a couple of corners really to go now. Can Lasse Sorensen do it again and claim for him what would be his 6th victory of the season, or can Giorgio Maggi unlock the door to victory number 4 of the season? Almost side by side coming into the corner. Martin Dubeck throws one up the inside of Advait Deodar and goes through. That was close. but it does look as though Martin Dubeck might just have got the jump there up towards the conclusion of the lap. Advert Yodo weaving one way, weaving the other to do anything to try and get third place back. And now Giorgio Maggi almost alongside Lasse Sorensen. He was just that little bit too late, as you say, heading in towards the Jackie X chicane. And on the charge to the line, it does look as though it's a 6th win of the season for Lasse Sorensen. Further back, though, crumbs. Was that a bit of contact on the run to the line there?
I think so.
I think that might have been Justin Kuntz and Advait Dioda who got a bit too close to each other there on the run to the line, but they largely got away with it. So Lasse Sorensen comes through to claim the win over Giorgio Maggi, who finished in 2nd place. Martin Dubeck sneaking through to make it a Hendricks Motorsport 2-3 on the charge to the line, and it looks as though Vittorio Gorelli managed to also unlock the door of Advait Dioda and came through into 4th place. Advait Dioda taking the checkered flag in 5th when it looked pretty much assured for a podium.
I was surprised, to be honest. I think Martin just threw himself on the inside and he passed him. That was good job.
You look at what Lasse Sorensen has done so far this year, what he's just done in that race. He did exactly what he needed to do. 1 point between them heading into tomorrow's race, if I've got the maths correct.
Wow. Wow, those drivers definitely not going to sleep tonight.
But you know what that feels like, don't you?
Yeah, actually I do. I remember last year, and you did. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and like thinking about what happened back in Zolder in 2018.
So do you come into then tomorrow thinking this is my strategy for the race, or do you just think all I can do is drive on what unfolds in front of me?
I think they will tell themselves that all they need to do is focus on the race and just race and be the quickest. But that thinking about the championship will never leave them. Like even during the race, they will. When I drove last year and I fighting, I think with Gabion, I was doing the math during the race. Like I was calculating where is Gabion right now and how much points he will get and how much point I will get during the race. So even if you don't want to think about it, there is no way to escape it.
Well, we look forward to whatever's going to unfold in front of us over the course of tomorrow, because we've had some fantastic racing today. Are you going to hang around? Do you need to disappear? Are you going to hang around so we can hear what the winners are? Oh, you're a star.
I like to be next to you.
Not everybody says that. I don't even get that at home, you know. So, Lasse Sorensen comes through and claims the win, his 6th victory of the 2019 NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. Who got the fastest lap of the race? Just having a quick look through. I think it's Lasse Sorensen. Which means, that's surely the perfect start to the weekend for him, isn't it? 1 point adrift of the championship leader, 6th win of the season, more wins than anybody, and is going to start from pole position tomorrow. So he heads down towards victory lane. We will hear from Lasse Sorensen very, very shortly indeed. He'll just wait for the notification he can get out of the car, and the celebrations, well, the champagne will be on ice because it couldn't be any tighter heading into tomorrow's race. But it's going to be a big old smile on the face of Lasse Sorensen, who, as we say, remember, missed the first 2 races of the championship. And, well, who would have thought that the 22-year-old Danish driver, who unbelievably used to race single-seaters, he's about 6'3" now, is Lasse Sorensen. He said, well, I used to race single-seaters, but I had a growing spurt, and that's why he concentrated on car racing. But he's a very, very quietly spoken man outside of the car. He does all of his talking when he's behind the wheel, Alan, and I've been hugely impressed with him.
I just realized he started 6th.
He did, yeah. It's even more impressive, isn't it?
Wow, yeah. And that's not the first time.
Well, he did it from the back of the grid at Brands Hatch, didn't he?
Did it from, I don't know, 24th or something.
So well done to Deck Sweat DF1 Racing. You can see the hard work that's got into it. He goes around and congratulates every single member of the team. As you said, it is a team sport, isn't it? Absolutely, it's a team sport.
Yeah, if you think about it, every person in your team doing something to make the car quicker. If it's the mechanic, the engineer, even the people who take care of the food, they're all trying to win. Everybody wants to win, and when you win, they win.
So he is the 2014 French Formula 4 champion. He has finished runner-up in the Thundersports Danish Championship in 2018. 2018 last year, but could he be heading towards the Elite 2 Division Championship for the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series for 2019? Well, 15 laps around Circuit Zolder will decide that tomorrow. Giorgio Maggi and himself separated now just by a single point in the championship, and mathematically I'm not sure whether Vittorio Gorelli, who finished in 4th place in the end now, is going to be able to do a great deal about it. So I'll do the maths tonight, but I think it's probably just down between the pair of them now. So there is our winner in victory lane. Let's hear from Lasse Sorensen.
Lasse, your win here at Zolder, and now we have a championship battle with only 1 point between you and Giorgio Maggi. How do you feel?
I still hope I get the one for the most overtakes, so we have to wait for that one. Yeah, it was a good race. I really had to fight my way up there. Some really good battles, some good overtakes, and the car was really good. So thanks to the team, Dexvet DF1 Racing. We got to improve a bit, small touches here and there on the setup, and we'll be ready for tomorrow to start from pole position.
What is your strategy tomorrow?
Tomorrow I'm starting first, so I don't have to overtake, so I just have to keep my head in the mirror and block everyone who's trying to come on overtake. So yeah, I mean, that's good. It's always harder when you have to gain positions rather than defend them.
All right, thank you very much. Your Elite 2 winner, Lasse Sorensen.
So there we go, a double thumbs up from Lasse Sorensen. Alan, champion-elect him or Giorgio Maggi, you know, I have to remain impartial as to which way it goes, but if we've got the maths right, subject to, who gets the extra 8 points, as he alluded to, for gaining the most places, starting position to finishing position, either way, it's going to be tight tomorrow.
Yeah, and I think the guy knows what he's doing. That's for sure. He knows that he's starting from pole position, and he just needs to concentrate and doing the best he can. That's going to be interesting tomorrow, especially when it's going to rain tomorrow. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're going to drive in the wet. So, yeah, and the guys from Scandinavia now.
Absolutely, yeah. They know how to drive in a varying conditions, usually wet or sometimes even snowy over there. So yeah, we'll wait and see.
That's going to be interesting.
Good luck for your race tomorrow as well.
Thank you very much.
Outgoing champion, but I'm sure it won't be the last time your name is on that championship trophy.
Oh, that's for sure. I love that.
Which means you're back next year again.
I don't know.
That's exactly what you said at the beginning of the programme, so that's a good way to end it. Thanks to Alan Day for joining us in the commentary box.
Thank you very much. It was lovely to see you here.
We wish him all of the best for tomorrow's final race of the season. Remember, we do it all again tomorrow here at Circuit Zolder. Elite 2 are the first of the races that we've got underway. That is at 11 o'clock Central European summertime. It's a very early 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time if you're watching in the US. The Elite 1 race gets underway in the afternoon at 15:15. We go live Central European summertime with the Elite 1 stream. That is 9:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So from the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series here at Circuit Zolder, goodbye. We'll see you tomorrow. Good morning and welcome to Autodromo di Franciacorta. Attached for round 6 of the 2000. Welcome to Circuit Zolder for the final round. The lights go out, the green flag flies. It's all very tight up towards turn 1. Oh, it's close and there's contact. They're side by side. When the checkered flag falls and the race is done, there's always time for celebrations.